Hello guys, how's it going? Welcome to this brand new tutorial series. In this series we're going to be creating a tower defense game as a request by someone in the comments. I unfortunately do not know how to pronounce your name, but I do thank you for the suggestion. It was a very good one. Let's jump right in, and my mind just stopped. I don't know what it is tonight, but apparently my brain doesn't work. So let's start off. Today's tutorial is going to be all about creating the basic enemy system and creating a basic level. So to start off, let's create a sprite, and let's call this SBR Dirt, and let's hit Edit Sprite. By the way, this first tutorial is going to be a lot like my Tower Defense Pass tutorial, except I've just looped this one into the series. So if you have seen the other tutorial, you can use the same project file, as it's the exact same code. We're going to hit New, and we're going to create a 32 by 32 sprite, and let's call this dirt, or not call it dirt, let's make it a dirt color, like a brownish. Let's make it a bit of a lighter brown. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so we've got our dirt, and let's also make an SBR enemy. SBR enemy. Let's hit Edit Sprite, and let's create a 32 by 32. And what we're going to do for this is I'm just going to do a red color. Perfect. Awesome. So we've got our dirt and our enemy. And to add these into a room, we have to make them objects. So let's create an object, and let's call this obj dirt. By the way, this is more of a tutorial for if you're familiar with GameMaker and you're used to it. You understand what I mean when I say let's make an object. If you don't, I do have a GameMaker for Absolute Beginners series where I go through the creation of a platformer, and in that series I just go through everything. So if you want to check that out, you can click somewhere over here. So we got our obj dirt. Let's hit OK, and let's create our obj enemy, and let's set the sprite to SBR enemy. And the one thing we have to do really quick is in the obj dirt, where it says depth, we want to make this -1. Now the way depth works is, the farther down you go in the negatives, the farther down you go in the layers. So since we want this to be behind everything, we're going to do -1. So let's hit OK. Actually, you know what? I think that's incorrect. I do believe it is 1, not -1. I think I'm going crazy. Let's create a room, and we're not going to use grass sprites or anything. We're just going to set the background to a green color. That will do just fine. What about this green? Yeah, no, this green matches our dirt a bit. And the first thing we want to do is we want to create a pathway using our dirt. This is the path that the enemies will follow for the first level. So I'm going to do something really basic, exact same as I did in the other tutorial. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make it 3 wide actually, just to give some room. And let's push it this way a bit. Perfect. So now we've got our basic layout, and you're going to have to do this for each level, and it's extremely important because the player has to be able to know where the enemies are going. So let's rename this room to room_level 1. Perfect. So now we've got our room level 1. Now what we do need to do actually is we need to make it so our enemies will follow a path. And if you're unaware what paths are basically preset directions that we can attach to objects that they will then follow if we use the right lines of code. So to create a path, all we have to do is go over to the left hand side here, and we have to right click on paths and hit create path. And now you'll see it'll pop up with this whole new window. So basically, the first thing we want to do actually, we want to rename this to pth_level 1. So this is path level 1, and we're going to wow, why does my brain do this? Why does my brain shut down like this? You're going to look at this top menu here, and you're going to see all these buttons. Just don't think about any of them. You want to go to the very last one, and it's this white box, and you want to click on it, and it's going to ask you to select a room. So now we can select room level 1, and what this will do is this will actually show us what the room is, make it a lot easier to create the paths. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click where we want the pathway to go, and if you click on the vertex, it will actually draw a line to there. And we're just going to draw it like this. And I'm going to make it come out a bit. So that way, and out a bit. So that way the enemy comes onto the scene and leaves from the scene. Now you do notice that there is this line here that we don't really want. It's kind of connecting it. It's closing it. And to fix this, all we have to do is go to the left-hand side here and uncheck closed. And now, oh, do we have to? Whoa. Game Maker, why? Game Maker. There we go. That was weird. I don't know why that was happening. So all we have to do is move this over, and there we go. That's perfect. We've got our 4 vertexes and we've got our line. I don't know what that glitch was, guys. I'm sorry. To delete, all you have to do is click on a point and hit the delete button. Nice and simple. So you might run into an error like that. So path underscore level 1. Make sure that is renamed because it's just a lot. Whoa! I just totally hit my desk. That's extremely. It makes it a lot easier for when we actually program the enemies. So let's hit check, and let's go to the OBJ enemy. And since this is more of our test level, we're not going to go into crazy if statements checking which level it is or anything. All we're going to do is add an event, add a create event. We're going to go on the right hand side to where it says control. We're going to drag in some code, and all this code is going to say is path underscore start, and then in brackets we're going to say pth underscore level 1, which is our pathway. We're going to set the speed, which we want 4. We want the end action, so right now we're just going to hit 0, and absolute we're going to say 1. So basically, let's talk about this. This is the pathway that we've set. You can make this whichever path, whatever you named it. This is the speed, so this is how fast the enemies will move along the pathway. This is the end action. So what do we want to happen once it reaches the end of the path? There is different numbers. It mean that it does do certain things. 0 basically just tells it to stop. And then absolute is just basically if we want to follow the path exactly, or if we just kind of want to use it as a guideline, air quotation marks. So it doesn't follow it exactly on the lines, vertexes, but we do want it to do that. We don't want it to be curving off the pathway. So we can select the check mark, and now if we stick an enemy into the room and we hit play, you will notice that we will actually follow the pathway. Now there is a bit of a glitch right now, or not a glitch at all actually. What we're going to do is we're going to hit the X, and just so that the game's no longer running, and we're going to go to the sprite enemy, and we're going to double click on it, and we're going to hit center, because what you may have noticed is it was following the path kind of from the top left corner, and that's because that's where the origin point was, and we wanted to follow it from the center. So now if we hit play, there we go. So now it follows it straight from the center, and it'll go all the way through to the end, and then it's going to stop. Now I believe this was a bit fast, and I apologize if you didn't understand anything. If you didn't, please let me know. I'm always happy to help. I think we're going to end this tutorial here because I don't want to overload stuff. The next tutorial we're going to start with, I think we're just going to jump right in. I think we're going to add towers, so towers that you can place. And then the tutorial following, we're going to get into adding money and lives. And then the tutorial following that, we're going to get into the wave system. Dun, dun, dun. Wave system. That's going to be an interesting one. So guys, anyways, thanks so much for watching. I will talk to you in the next video.